Yeah. So, hi, I'm Dr. Kimberly Graziano. I'm a pediatrician for almost 30 years, and I've had a private practice in Sebastian, Florida for almost 20 years. And it's been myself and a physician assistant. And so it's been a smaller, more personal style of medical practice, seeing kids from 0 up to 18.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's my practice.
Okay, so going into a little bit of just the background and your personal reasons, what was it that, what made you think maybe it's time to sell? Like, what were those main factors that made you consider selling your practice?
So, I mean, I'm obviously not retirement age,
Right.
but I thought, what about semi-retirement? And looked at the fact that my 17-year-old, this is his last year at home. We have a lot of college visits. I started having children a little on the late side, and so I still have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old at home as well.
Wow.
I'm looking at my parents who are in their late 70s. And I'm fortunate enough to still have both of my parents. And I just decided that owning a business was too all-consuming for me to be able to be fully present in the things that I want to be present for at this time in my life.
Makes total sense. Yeah. So, because managing a medical practice is very demanding. The work-life balance is. Did you ever feel like you were hitting that right? The balance between just running.
I actually felt quite balanced for most of it. I
Good.
felt like everything was going at just the right pace until suddenly it wasn't. And things were starting to get away from me. I felt like I was starting to miss out on certain things. And that's when I finally made the decision. I can't say exactly how much the pandemic had to do with it, but I'm sure it had something to do with it, where we all sort of sat around and looked at what was most important to us. And so I'm sure that played a role in my decision as well.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. And I heard that you have some other interests like interior decorating and legal consulting. Did those play
There are
into?
some hobbies slash side gigs.
Yeah.
My husband, who is in the real estate business, he and I kind of have some real estate ideas. I do love interior design on the side, and I design my own home, and so I have lots of other ideas there that I need to get out. And I love yoga. But then I do have a physician side gig that I started about a year and a half ago, pediatric medical expert witness work, working with lawyers, both with plaintiffs and defendants, and I really started to enjoy that type of work as well. Very intellectually stimulating, and so I'm kind of stepping back a little bit from private practice, although I am still going to be going to my office 2 days a week. And still staying involved with caring for my patients, but 2 days a week and then not wearing so many hats, I think is going to work out better for me.
Sound like a very multi-passionate person, all those different things. So before you sought out professional help, were there any times that you felt kind of hopeful or optimistic that you would be able to secure a deal on your own? Like, how was that experience like?
So when you run your own business and you kind of are used to doing everything for yourself, that is a pretty typical thought. Hey, I can sell this myself. I can manage this transition. I've managed a lot of other things up to this point. I did do a little hunting through some connections that I knew, only to realize that I did not want a chain so to speak, of medical practices or a large corporation or a hospital system, I recognized that that was not going to be the best fit for my patients and my practice and myself. And once I got through all of that, I had actually spoken with Sean about a year prior to then contacting him again.
Wow. So what was the, like Sean had mentioned that you kind of realized you should have hired us from the start. It was because you had tried it on your own like that. And what were those factors that made you reach out 1 year later?
Well, I recognized that it was that selling practices is a specialty in and of itself. And for me to think that I was going to obtain the knowledge to do that and be good at it, that was kind of a not very realistic. I remembered speaking with Sean, a year prior. I really felt comfortable with the way he presented himself. I felt confident that he would be the person to take this and roll with it, and I was right.
Oh my gosh, that's so good to hear. In particular, because we really emphasize our personalized approach, was there any moment that stood out to you where you felt like especially like supported or understood by Sean and the rest of the team?
Well, I have to say that, I'm one practitioner, and I did always feel like I got the same attention that a 10 physician practice, a multi-million-dollar deal would have received. I did feel like I got that much attention to my situation. There were many times in the process I said to myself, boy, I'm glad he's handling all this right now, because I'm still supposed to be seeing patients and living. And, most of that was just, it was all handled by him, and I didn't have to do much. um, and I did feel really supported. It was, pleasant at all times. I never second guessed anything. I felt like he really knew what he was doing. At the very beginning, I expressed a concern to him that I had worked with a realtor once on selling a house, and I felt like all she cared about was closing the deal. And I expressed that I didn't want to enter a situation like that where he just wanted to close the deal, and he definitely showed me that that's not what this was about. What it was really about is what I wanted to happen in this process, and how to achieve that.
So nice to hear, because that's the experience that we want to offer to our clients, and hearing you say that is very reassuring that we're doing the right thing.